Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Grayscale Trust as well as GameStonk and the GameStonk earnings. So with that being said, let's get it. All right. So I'm going to go over the earnings and then we'll go over the actual price action and kind of how the market reacted to it. Okay, so you got your GameStop earnings here. I'm going to go ahead and read the whole thing. So it says GME has released its Q3 2024 financial results, reporting a net sales of looks like 0.86 billion, so not quite a billion, but getting there. Down from 1.078 billion, so I suppose that could probably actually be a bad thing. The company achieved, however, a net income of 17.4 million, so that's always good. Net means presumably after expenses, improving from a 3.1 million loss in the same period last year. So basically, it's a year-over-year net gain. I'm not sure who this is. SG&A expenses, or what this is, decreased to 282 million from 296.5 million year over year. So the fact that expenses are decreasing, obviously the markets are going to love that. Company's cash position stands at 4.61 billion. During the quarter, GameStop completed its at-the-market equity offering, selling 20 million shares for gross proceeds of approximately 400 million. Company stated it does not anticipate further at-the-market offerings during the current fiscal year. So as you guys know, usually when these companies do ATM offerings, what it usually does is it dilutes the share price by expanding the share count of available shares that are public on the market that can be bought, sold, and traded. Do I think this is going to be a lasting narrative for something like GameStop? No, I do not. Like I told you guys with the meme stocks, well, they're meme stocks for now. We'll see if that changes in the future. I have a feeling they're probably going to become very highly desirable stocks in the future, would be my guess. Don't ask me why I feel that way now, but I have a pretty strong feeling about this. So, I mean, I can give you an example, like Carvana, for example. Carvana used to be $6, now it's 240. I'm sure nobody saw that coming, right? There's plenty of stocks out there on the markets that people, that the bears will say, oh, this is garbage, don't buy this crap, like you don't want this, and then eventually later it ends up becoming something great, like Nvidia, Tesla. How many years were there bears saying Tesla was going to go to zero or Bitcoin's going to go to zero? Did that ever happen? No. Okay. So you see my point. But yeah, anyways, so as the Fed keeps cutting rates and Trump gets elected, he gives tax cuts, all that stuff. That's going to massively, massively benefit companies like GME and AMC. All right, so you got your positives here, negatives here. If you want to see it, you can stop the video to take a look at it. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the GME price. Just so you guys know, we do actually have a swing trade on GME at the moment. So it's a $1,000 position. We're looking for about a 15% gain here. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But you guys can see this thing basically went straight up and then straight back down. What's interesting, though, is we did create a higher low here from this low down here. So that could be an early sign that maybe this thing's going to go up tomorrow during market hours, especially after CPI comes out. So we'll see. All right, so of course, we like to try to let you guys know this is close to real time as possible. So we did add more shares of CLSK. We did also take on a $1,000 position on GME. Again, we're looking for roughly about a 15% gain here. That would not be unrealistic. So average cost $29.72. So let's head over to the charts. So basically what we're looking at here is that from $29.72 roughly about a 15% gain. I suppose it's not even that much. So about $34. Could it go back to $34? Oh, easily. That's pretty much right where it was back here in October of 2022. Of course, we saw GameStop go higher. So there is that. Also, I did want to let you guys know that we did take some profits on both. What was it? We took profits on Horizon and AIOZ, so we do not currently hold those. I think it was roughly about a sum of 2,000 or so. Not exactly, but roughly about that. Again, there was this kind of heinous dump. We took the position on AIOZ off roughly about the kind of retesting of the all-time highs here because we did figure there was a chance it could maybe get rejected, and it turns out that was right. And Horizon we don't have anymore, so if it doesn't mean we're not going to get back into it, but kind of what I'm thinking at the moment is maybe Bitcoin will probably come down. It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen here. It's still on the flag, but if it does, by some chance, come down here to 91 to 87,000 before eventually ripping back to the upside, that's a pretty steep drop. Again, that would be a normal correction. Actually, that would even be a small correction for something like crypto. It's usually like 20 or 30%. So if for whatever reason, by some chance that happens, Horizon may actually come back down to kind of around these EMAs, or maybe even a little bit lower. It's hard to say exactly because, again, we don't know exactly how long these pullbacks last in crypto. Usually when altcoins do get some kind of pullback, it's like a couple weeks. It's not really, I mean, it depends on the severity of the pullback, but usually it's not like a quick process. I mean, it does take a little bit of time. You can see there was like Filecoin, for example. So you have like this pullback here was 4 weeks before we went up, and this was basically the current halving year 4 years ago. 3 weeks of pullbacks, then you get some more pullbacks. You can see it took a while here on the weekly. Nice big pop, then another 2 weeks of pulling back, and then eventually we ripped. So again, a lot of these are oversold on the 4-hourly time frame, but we don't want to be premature here and assume that the dump is actually over with yet. But every other position that we have, we still have. So yeah, that's pretty much where it sits now. We'll talk about that this weekend. Okay, so going over LTCN, and again, CPI is coming out tomorrow. The markets, unfortunately, have had kind of an ugly day today, but tomorrow they could go back up pretty quick because if CPI comes out good, then I think the market's going to love it and they're going to pump the entire market up, would be my guess. Okay, so LTCN, same as before. I would say the buy zone here is 1750-ish. Targets all the way up to 25 to 54. Do keep in mind that even though we just entered alt season, we are at the start of alt season, so it could last a while. Okay, like 5-6 months is not unrealistic, which means these trusts could also have some extreme volatility as it goes up for the next 5 to 6 months. All right, so 205% gain here, BCHG. Still having a bit of trouble getting above this structure level here. This was clearly an overcut of some kind. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened in between now and then, but it's back down here at the EMAs. So if you guys missed the opportunity, you thought, oh crap, I missed it, it took off, I'm too late. Well, here's your chance right here. So I'd say pretty much about the EMAs, 730 to about 760 for the buy zone here. Targets, I'd be probably looking at about 1240 up to 24. I mean, it gets back up to 24. You're talking about a 3.5x. That's pretty good. So 233% gain. HZEN, rejection off the resistance. Am I shocked? No. Would I have been shocked if it just cut straight through and kept going higher? No, I wouldn't have. This is crypto. It's always kind of a 50-50 bet, so to speak, as to what's going to happen when it reaches a support or resistance. So structure is still holding. If it pulls back, $5 is going to be about, in my opinion, your best bet. Of course, that is just my opinion, not financial advice. So targets $8 to $12.20. The move would then be roughly about 150% gain. ETCG, nice little pullback here. Again, that's not at all surprising. I mean, this thing essentially has done nothing but gone up for 6 weeks straight. So pullback area here, roughly about 13, I would say is a good area. You could say up to 13 to 16, somewhere in there, assuming this is going to go higher. Again, usually when structure gets broken to the upside, you can see here, even if it is going to come back down, it kind of fights in this area for a while. It eventually becomes obvious, like it's not going to hold, but it doesn't break down usually right away. Again, when a break of structure happens, that indicates a trend change, which means that the basically control of the market moves from the hands of the bears to the hands of the bulls in this case. Okay, that's what that means. So targets here, 1860 to about 20. 53% gain, ETHE. So yeah, we kind of got whacked a little bit before this kind of double top here. Does it mean it's going to just go straight back down like it did the last two times? No, I highly doubt it. I mean, we're at a different timeline in the cycle right now, and the time that we're currently in, these things should be going up pretty soon, I would think. Again, that's usually just how it plays out every 4 years. So any potential buy zone here, pick your poison. Anything from 23.40 up to 28.20. 53 would be the target. That's that cup and handle target. About 125% move. If you guys are worried about it, maybe this white line is a potential buy zone. Do I think it gets back down there? Probably not. I mean, the price is above the EMAs. Usually it holds when it gets above the EMAs. But if you're worried about it, 1830. GBAT, so yeah, still haven't, so we got this green candle above on the weekly, but then, yeah, this doesn't look pretty. So, as of right now, I'd say about 7 to 750, pretty much the current price where it's at is a good buy area. If you're worried about lower prices, 420 to 520, somewhere there. But, I mean, it's struggled for a very long time in this accumulation to get out of here. So, the chance that this thing does move lower, pretty low, in my opinion. Okay, so 32 would be the target here, 332% gain. Again, we talked about accumulation blocks. Usually when these things go sideways at a swing low, that usually, when it breaks out, that usually means that that was accumulation and it's probably going to go higher. Okay, so FILG, we're looking at about 57 to 65 for a buy zone. Lower area had 36 to 45. I don't think it gets down there though, because again, it has to get below the EMAs to get there. 400 for the swing high up here, so roughly about a 900% gain. GLIV, yeah, this thing kind of looks pretty similar to GBAT. Unfortunately, the unfortunate reality about being in the markets is for every trade, there's always a counter trade. So if you're super bullish on something, you can be sure that there's somebody out there that's probably super bearish on it. So yeah, when you see it pop up and a kind of push back down like this, that's either people taking profit or that and or a combination of some bear out there trying to tank this thing. Okay. That happens in every stock, just so y'all know. There are people out there shorting stocks in the stock market too. It happens. Okay. Doesn't mean it's going to go lower. It just unfortunately means that there is a temporary pullback. That's normal. That's healthy. We want to see that as prices go up. Okay, so GLIV, I'd say as of right now, probably about 15 to 16 bucks at the lowest point could be a good area to buy. Targets up here, 80. 420% gain. Next one here, G-Link. So the EMAs have finally had a golden cross here. We'll see if this holds or not. It usually does. 9 out of 10 times when you get a golden cross, usually the price goes up. Again, I can tell you that from personal experience. The indicators are bullish, all that jazz. We're above the support, so it looks good. 64 to 83 is the buy zone. First target, again, if you're only aiming to get to the all-time highs, it's going to be about 220. If not, then obviously the fib levels would be higher than that, so 230% gain here. GSOL, notwithstanding the stock split, it's again, that makes it a little difficult to actually kind of target where the prices could potentially go. And I do have to go back and redo this chart. I haven't had a chance yet, but I mean, it's currently sitting in the buy zone, so 23 to 50. I'd probably be setting the target up here for 70. I'd say probably maybe anywhere between 73 to 170. Again, we have to account for the stock split here. I don't know why they did that, but anybody's guess is my guess is as good as yours as to why they did a stock split. I mean, again, a lot of these trusts, they have like super micro size market caps. It doesn't even make sense to do it, but what do I know, right? So 640% gain on this one. GXLM still looks like it wants to go higher. I mean, that's a pretty bullish candle. That is a dragonfly candle. I mean, it's green and it's at the top of a move. It's pretty bullish, I would say. But if there is, by some chance, a pullback here, probably about 36 to 40 is what I'd be looking at. And then targets appear 74 to 95. about 165% gain. Next one here, Mana. So nice big green candle followed by a red one. Is that surprising? Not really. That's crypto for you. I mean, it's gonna happen. You guys might see like 200% gains in a week, and then the next week you might get a 50% drop. Okay. Again, markets are extreme, like the maximum volatility in crypto. Most people can't handle it. If you didn't want to be in the space because it's too volatile, I would totally understand that. No judgment passed. It's not for everybody. There is a reason why some people just do dividends and covered calls and cash secured puts. Because, the volatility can get kind of nuts. And it's a little painful for people to watch their positions go down 20, 30% in a matter of weeks. It's not pretty. Okay, so Mana. Buy zone here, roughly about 14 to 15.55. If you think that's not going to hold, $10 would be your next level. The first target, in my opinion, would probably be about the all-time highs. Again, it's very realistic that could happen. 366% gain. Zcash. So this one actually does look like it is trying to hold up here. That's good. I'd say the buy zone probably still about that $6 area here. And then targets $8 all the way up to roughly about 10.5. It's about a 74% gain. And again, whenever you see an accumulation block like this, either near the lows or at the lows, again, when we talk about lows, we're talking about the overall macro chart. Where is this? It's pretty much almost at the lows here. This was at the lows. This was almost at the lows. Coming off a higher, basically this was coming off the bottom here and then pulling back, retesting previous resistance and support. There's a good chance this accumulation at some point is probably going to break out to the upside. Again, it's not 100% guarantee, but there's a very high probability in this particular situation that it is going to go up. And we told you guys that was going to happen. If you had bought down here, kind of made your average about $3 to $4 or something like that, I mean, you'd already be sitting pretty. Going up to the swing high, about 135% gain. So not too bad, right? Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.